Hi, this is Brandon Spillane from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the Sumo deadlift versus bands. So we've talked on our YouTube channel and our website previously about how to set bands up for the deadlift. So I'm not going to go over that extensively. I'm just going to kind of briefly show. I'm going to do it here while I set it up. But you can find that over on those two resources. But the reason you would deadlift against bands is to have some accommodating resistance and to work on developing some speed, power, and or working through sticking points for your deadlift. I really like bands as they are more challenging than chains. However, they can beat you up a little bit more than chains would. So I would just be careful with that. But also, you can use some dynamic effort principles as well with these in terms of building some speed and power as well. So you got a lot of different options by setting up bands. So on our platform here, we've got regular band pegs. So I'm going to do this the simple way and just take the bands, run it through one, bring it over, and attach it to the other. Very, very easy. If you got a platform like this, I definitely think it's a very good luxury. And then I'm pretty much good to go. So with our Sumo deadlift, we're going to start off with our feet in a wide stance position. So they're going to be outside of our hip width. We're going to have our toes slightly turned out, about a 25, 35 degree angle, something like that. And then you can play around with the stance in terms of how wide you get. That's entirely up to you. I would say make sure that you leave a little bit of space between yourself and the bar. You don't want to be touching the bar from the get-go. Leave a little bit of space, especially if somebody that has any kind of like appreciable quad size. That's going to become a factor when it comes to locking it out. So you want to have a little bit of space there. We're going to have our chest tall. Our arms are long like hooks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break at the knees. Our hips are going to go back. Keep our chest tall. We're going to try and get good and long. And we're going to keep just bending our knees, pushing them out as we keep our back good and neutral, everything good and normal here. So I'm gonna keep my arms long, I'm gonna reach towards the bar, push to the sides of my shoes, feel the sides of my shoes, spread the floor apart, grab the barbell. That's my position right here. That's my start position. We're gonna yank the slack out, okay? I'm not gonna like, you know, just yank the bar and go. I wanna slowly yank and pull that slack out here. So you're gonna hear that click. You're gonna get that out before you pull the bar. So here, pull the slack out. Make sure my lats are set tight. So I'm gonna have my elbows are gonna kind of come towards me. I should be able to pinch a tennis ball or like an orange or something in between my armpits while I'm set up down there. And I'm gonna push my knees out, wedge myself, make sure my hips are higher than my knees at all times. Okay, so we're not gonna try to squat this up. And then I'm going to apply all my force and pull. So here, pull that slack out, pull. Okay? Then just reset, pull the slack out. Okay? Pretty easy, self-explanatory once you get into position. The main thing to make sure, again, that you're not yanking on the barbell. You're staying in a good position, you're keeping your chest tall, and we're not trying to extend through our back. We're trying to bring our butt towards the barbell. With the bands, when it comes to picking a band tension, in general, I'm going to recommend 20 to 25% of whatever your 1 rep max is. If you don't know what your 1 rep max is, take a good estimated guess, take a little bit off that, and run with that. So if I'm a 400-pound deadlifter, I'm going to want about 80 to 100 pounds of band tension. The way that you can measure that's with a luggage scale. And then you just set your bands up. And that's going to give you enough band tension to have to work, but nothing that's going to just hit you like a wall when it comes to the lockout. So the bands are going to provide the tension the whole way. And it's going to help make sure that we use our glutes and our hamstrings to really get some good hip extension, finish that lift, and develop some power and speed from the floor. So that is the Sumo deadlift versus bands or against bands. When it comes to programming these, it's really going to depend upon what your goals are. If you're a conjugate person, by all means, this is a great way to do dynamic effort training. So in that case, you would probably be looking at 6 to 12 singles or doubles for speed between 40 and 60%. Then add your bands on top of that. Of course, you could do this as your max effort variation, so you'd work up to a 1 rep max. You know, if you don't do conjugate training, that's entirely okay. Then you would probably be somebody that's doing sets of 3 or to the 4, to the 5. I don't think the deadlift lends itself of being a very high rep exercise. I think the reps should stay lower. It's just a very challenging and technical lift, and quality is definitely more important than quantity. And usually if you can do some lower reps, you're going to get more chances to practice your setup and your technique, because unlike the other big lifts like the squat and the bench press, the deadlift starts with a concentric movement, which means that the musculature is actually moving the weight first, rather than like the bench press and the squat where the weight's going to lower first. That gives you a little bit of an advantage with the stress shortening cycle, which you don't get from the deadlift. So that's where the bands can come in a huge amount of help, is being able to teach you how to increase that rate of force development and create force incredibly fast to break the weight off the floor when it comes to competition day, or, you know, setting some big training PRs, or even just trying to develop general strength in the weight room. It's going to help teach your athletes how to do that. That's what I really, really enjoy about the bands. I've always felt that I've benefited personally from a ton of band training with my deadlift. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.